Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Blindfolded Speedrun News. This time we have the month of May and many amazing blindfolded speedruns with that. First of all, we have the very famous Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64. Because we have two new completions of the game, or rather two new runs to showcase here. We have Keegan, who managed for the first time in the world to finish the any percent SRM route blindfolded. That is a very short run in fact. We can beat the entire game in under 10 minutes with the use of very crazy glitches. Basically how this run works is that you warp from the very first area of the game, the Kokiri Forest, all the way to the credits with manipulating super precise memory values in the game's RAM. This is all possible because of Ocarina of Time's precise normalized movements with all the backflips and side hops etc. With this we can set up precise angles that are needed to perform these kind of glitches. Also, an ESS adapter is used to my knowledge at the very end to recalibrate one up left notch for a very specific setup that requires usually like two basically frame perfect inputs. And all of this combined gives us this super amazing sub 10 minute blindfolded speedrun of Ocarina of Time. So big GG to Keegan. I have heard that there is still room to improve and that he probably wants to improve this still. If not, I am also very interested in this category. Maybe in the future I can try it myself. And with that we come already to the second run, which is Ocarina of Time any percent defeat Ganon by me. In fact, I have grinded this category quite a bit in like 2 weeks or so after I finished 120 star. I wanted to have a submission video for RTA in Japan, and for that I learned the entire new strats and the route that Saver uses, the current world record holder for this category. And I actually managed to PB and get second place by 7 seconds, and now I have a time of 35 minutes. And defeat Ganon is basically the old any percent where you do the wrong warp from the first dungeon to the end boss. Basically it is beat the game as fast as possible without the use of these super crazy glitches, just like the medium crazy glitches. And it was really crazy because what is impressive about this run I think is how fast I relearned everything, because I came back to this game for like 2 weeks, and within 2 weeks I learned everything again. I did runs, I did practice, and then I still managed to PB in like one of the last runs I wanted to do. So that's really cool that this happened. And with that we move on to the next game, which is Nintendo Switch Sports by Crystal Saver that I have mentioned earlier. Saver has managed to beat all main categories of Nintendo Switch Sports, which just very recently released. I believe there are 6 different main sports in this game, which are volleyball, badminton, soccer, bowling, chambara and tennis. And all of these require very precise motion controls, and as you can imagine, blindfolded and motion controls don't go very well together. But Saver of course still managed, and he beat all these 6 main categories of sports in all difficulty levels, and that's the really impressive thing. Because it started all out with normal runs, normal difficulty runs, but he upped himself still and did it on all the other difficulties too, which is, I believe, normal, powerhouse is the hardest I think, then there's strong, which is like the medium category, and I think that's actually all. So 3 different runs with very different difficulties inside. I believe in Powerhouse, the hardest difficulty, tennis was the biggest problem, whereas in normal, soccer was the biggest problem due to RNG and like time saves, etc. So really cool to see this. It's a very interesting run. I can highly recommend to check it out. Next up, we have a very interesting and unique game called Duck Life 1. It's a browser game on PC, and it was run in any percent no major glitches by Creepium Gamer, who finished this run in around half an hour, 27 minutes. And it's basically the goal of this game is to train your duck and win races. But for blindfolded, Creepium Gamer came up with a super clever strat, because they noticed that if you do the practice levels in this game and fail, you still earn EXP for your skills that you need to level up to win the races. So what happens in Blindfolded is that basically we repeat the training levels and fail on purpose X amount of times until we max out our stats. And then we just go into the races and finish everything super easy because we have such a strong duck. And it's a really clever way of abusing the game's mechanics. Because, yeah, in Blindfolded it might be difficult to beat count all the stages, etc. But if you spend the first 20 minutes or so on training your duck to maximum stats with like easy peasy inputs, then of course the rest gets much easier, and that's a really cool strategy in my opinion. So big shoutouts to that. I believe Creepium Gamer also has a full any percent glitched run of this game, so please check that also out if you are interested. Next, we have A Link to the Past by Serpin. And actually, we have 3 different categories, and one of them is any percent, and that is a new world record, which is super exciting because A Link to the Past any percent is run by many people actually, and it has been optimized extremely much with time. And I believe it has like around 10 runners at this point, and Serpin managed to still beat Cartoon's world record by, I believe, 2 seconds. Which is incredible in such an optimized run. Like, to save 2 seconds is extremely difficult, because this run involves a lot of RNG, which means that we basically use a glitch in this run where we cannot get hit by anything, otherwise the run is dead. And there are enemies in our way, which is kind of unfortunate because we need to pass like 4 or 5 enemies there. So what is happening here is we try to go as fast as possible without getting hit, and if we get hit, it's a reset, straight out. So very big shoutouts to Serpent for managing to optimize this even already super optimized run and getting that good world record now. Serpent also has routed Kako Easter Egg, which is a kind of meme category, and the Armos RTA, which is the speedrun until the first boss of the game in the first dungeon. And both of these runs use major glitches as well, and they are somewhat a preparation for a longer run, what I heard that Serpent still wants to do in the future of A Link to the Past. But yes, big congratulations. I heard that Serpent also works on other games right now, Blindfolded, so super cool to see. Hope all your projects will go well in the future. Then we have SM64, and I can finally proudly announce that the world first Blindfolded 120 star run has officially been done. I've worked for this so long. We finished after 1 year and 3 months of practice and multiple failed attempts. I finally managed to get a run in 11 hours and 22 minutes, which is a super good run. The run was really good in itself. It had many first try very difficult stars like LLL 100, DDD 100. All the hardest stars were basically first try or very fast. The only 2 big major mistakes were SSL 100 and SL 100, which kind of lost me an hour each on the single star. So that's unfortunate, but it's a very big achievement for me. I am super happy. That was my most ambitious project yet. And I am very happy to see what the future holds now. It is done, and maybe in the future I'll come back to 70 star first. That's, I think, my next major goal in SM64. Talking about SM64 though, we also have Nico, who month after month continues to improve his 16 star PB, which is amazing to see. He now finally managed to get a sub 1 hour run with 2 PBs in May actually, one with a 51 minute and the second one with a 45 minute, which is very incredible if you consider that in 2019, just a few years ago, the world record that was standing at that time was slower than those. So big shoutouts to Nico, who continuously month after month grinds this game, practices, keeps pushing and gets PB after PB, and I'm very sure all of this work that goes into it will pay off, and there will still be more PBs in the future. Very happy to see what will happen in the future. Then we also have Handy, who PB'd in 16 star. And now that's an interesting one, because Handy actually bopped me and officially got the 2nd place in Super Mario 64 16 star. He is now, I think, 45 seconds faster than my PB, and he continuously keeps labbing new strats and new ideas of routes, etc. So I'm very sure we will see another big PB of him soon, but I'm really happy to see this as a old school runner of the game to see the new people overtaking me. It's like such a good feeling, I don't know, makes me happy. And Handy also has actually finished his first 31-star run because he wants to extend into like the longer categories now. And his first 31-star run finished in 51 minutes, I believe, which is also a very, very good time already. Probably we will see more PBs of that in the future too. So big GG Handy one more time. Keep that second spot while you can. I will come back for it one day. And yeah, back to other games too. We have Kirby and the Forgotten Land this month, a very recently released title on the Nintendo Switch, which has been officially blindfolded now by Bomb Happy. And it's a pretty long run. It's currently 8 hours and 20 minutes long, but I have heard that there are many optimizations and strats to still be improved. It will probably be grinded quite a bit more, I believe, with a goal time of around 6 hours. So we'll definitely see more of this in the future. But really cool to see such new games and such new releases being blindfolded so fast by the community. I'm always very happy to see new games especially, and if they are newly released, then it's like the double win. Super, super big GG for that. And speaking of Kirby, we also have the runner called Turtle, who started routing Kirby's Dreamland in our community. Currently, we have a IL of Green Greens, which is the first stage, basically like a few platforming sections and the first boss. I've actually looked into Kirby's Dreamland myself a few years ago, but I got turned off by this project because in the second stage there is a boss which is extremely RNG heavy, and I gave up on that. So I really hope that Turtle continues routing this and maybe manages to beat this game finally. It would be an amazing speedrun to see in the future. Next up, we have a new Japanese runner of Breath of the Wild. The runner is called Mariana, and Mariana is grinding Breath of the Wild extremely hard these days. There is practice and new PBs every day basically. And we see currently here a Great Plateau PB, which is basically the first half of any percent. Great Plateau includes the first 4 shrines, basically the tutorial section of the game. And Mariana got a 54-minute run in May, which is only around 9 minutes off of the current world record, or even less actually. But the current world record holder, Saver, has actually created the entire route for any percent, which Mariana has learned now. So I'm very sure we'll see very soon a full any percent run with Saver's route and Mariana's performance basically. Super cool to see more Breath of the Wild runners. I am joining this whole race myself too in like a few months or weeks. And very happy to see more people doing it. Always more fun if there are multiple people working on this. So big GG, I'm very sure we will see more PBs of this, so definitely go ahead and check it out while it is fresh. And with that, I want to quickly go into the shoutout section of this video, because we have 2 marathon runs blindfolded, which have been performed, I believe, in April, which I could not cover unfortunately, but I want to still shout them out here because it's incredible to see. First of all, we have Civil with Vectronom, because Civil performed Vectronom blindfolded at a French speedrunning event, like live. That means offline with crowd and everything. And it is always so amazing to see the reactions of the people who see blindfolded for the first time. And I'm very, very happy that Civil could perform so extremely well. The run was very well received by the French community and the audience. And I believe the estimate was 33 minutes and Civil finished in 28, so definitely crushed it. Can only recommend to check it out, especially if you are French speaking. There's live commentary to it. Go ahead and check it. It's really worth it. Second of all, we have Shifty, who did a very, very crazy run a few months ago for an event called Link to the Cure. And he performed his specialty, his blindfolded specialty, Pokemon Red, any percent glitchless, but with a super extra twist. And that is, he played the entire game blindfolded while walking on a treadmill, while being live on a marathon, also on top of that. So not only you have this incredible mental capacities that you need to perform a blindfolded Pokemon run from memory, but also you need the coordination, etc. to walk 2.5 hours straight while doing all these inputs on the controller. It's incredible to me. It's honestly such a cool challenge, in my opinion, to combine gaming with something physical in real life and to showcase this to the world. Big GG and shoutouts to both of you for showing off blindfolded speedruns in the public, in marathon runs. It always pushes this community more out into the open world, into the public. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. And with that, we have also already reached the end for this month's video. As always, go follow the runners, go check them out, leave them a like. Definitely, if you want to see more blindfolded news, subscribe to this channel. Next month will be June, and there are already so many incredible cool runs that I have collected. So stay tuned. Please leave a comment which run you like the most this month, as always. And with that, I want to say goodbye, take care, and see you around. Bye bye. Hey, if you like this video, please consider supporting me over at Patreon. I have many cool perks about blindfolded gaming that you might be interested in. This video was sponsored by VR4300, ZXMany, Funkylicious, Boris, Bob Farrell, Benlitz, Nex, and many more. Thank you so much for all the support.